See if everybody got something else to say tomorrow. That's what we waiting on. See what they got to say. See what y'all got to say. All right, so we live. All right, we back with part 2 of breaking Dr. York's Kabbalah spell on his followers. All right. We finna get into the festivities. I'm your host, Tarkin Onanupu, and I'm a proud member of the Ethiopian race, kinky hair race, coiled hair race, having the hair residue from original creation. The only group of people on planet Earth that can say that. So that's my introduction.
True peace. I'm Nibu Re Unu Nupu, proud member of the Ethiopian race as well. Nunabu Hepa, commentator. Basically just sitting back getting all this information, and all the dots are being connected, and let's get it rolling. True peace.
All right. True peace, all kins and friends. I am a Nupu. I'm also a member of the African race, also known as the Ethiopian race, and also a representative of Nupu brought to us by Afro Nupu. So, yes, this is part 2, and I'm excited to see what's to come. True peace.
All right, so we finna jump into the next thing. All right, so let me share my squizine. All right, let me know if y'all can see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so let's go.
Perfidy and hatred of man, barbarism and repulsion for science. Would Adonai and his priests calumniate him? Yes, Lucifer is God, and unfortunately, Adonai is also God. For the eternal law is that there is no light without shade, no beauty without ugliness, no white without black. For the absolute can only exist as two gods, darkness being necessary to light to serve as its foil. Thus, the doctrine of Satanism is a heresy, and the true and pure philosophic religion is a belief in Lucifer, the equal of Adonai. But Lucifer, God of light and God of good, is struggling for humanity against Adonai, the God of darkness and evil. Masonry is a search after light. That search leads us directly back to the Kabbalah. All Masonic associations owe Kabbalah their secrets and their symbols. Albert Pike from Morals and Dogma. The following quote is taken from Manly P. Hall in his book, The Lost Keys of Freemasonry, on page 124. When the Mason learns that the key to the warrior on the block is a proper application of the dynamo of living power, he has learned the mystery of his craft. The seething energies of Lucifer are in his hands, and before he may step onward and upward, he must prove his ability to properly apply energy. The theories of Kabbalism are inextricably interwoven with the tenets of alchemy, Hermeticism, Rosicrucianism, and Freemasonry. Manly P. Hall, 33rd degree Freemason. Kabbalah and the Androgyny Agenda. The following is from the book Beware the World to Come by Christopher John Bjerknes, the world's leading and most extensive secular researcher into the Kabbalah. The Jewish mystical set of beliefs known as Kabbalah professes that the corruption of the androgyne gods and of androgynous Adam into distinctly male and female forms was a terrible calamity, that needs to be rectified through a process the Kabbalists call tikkun olam. This expression means that Jewish people must repair the world. They believe that this process of repairing the damage began about 6,000 years ago, when Adam was created, then divided into Adam and Eve, and needs.
This is very crazy of what these people are saying. But you see some of the truth is in there. They know that they came about 6,000 years ago. All right. And they think they got to repair the world. All right. But listen how they believe they're going to repair the world. Just listen to this.
To be completed now, or terrible things will happen. Fixing human beings by making them androgynous will also repair the gods and return them to their androgynous state.
You see that? They believe that they need to make everybody turn androgynous. That's how they think they're going to repair the world. This is the sickness of the Kabbalah. All right? We know what an androgynous being is. A person with both sex organs.
What happens on earth affects what happens in heaven. The androgyny agenda is a religious agenda. It is a Kabbalistic agenda. This androgyny-based ancient religion holds that not only are male and female one being in the proper order of things, but that the beginning and end of history are also of one and the same form. That is.
Now, we know that York was in a couple of Masonic orders and was using their stuff. All Masons is basically being controlled by the Kabbalists. All right, let us go into something real quick. All right, let's go back to the group. Let me go back. I just want to break this down real quick. Okay, group, where's the groups at? Go back to the groups. Go to our group. Just want to show y'all this real quick. So y'all can be like, man, what the hell is going on? But don't you worry. Don't you worry, workers. All right, don't you worry. Don't you darn worry. Just show you this real quick, like. Again, we all know that York was in these Masonic groups. All right, let me know when you can see this.
Yeah.
Yep. Austin.
All right. So, do I need to make this bigger?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. How about now?
A little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so this is May 10th, 2015, but this is out the nature books, right? It said, listen to reason. The moon of our planet Earth is basically what? Neuter gender, but does have enough male and female materials, powers, and energies to produce beings called what? The moon god and moon goddess by way of brain concentrations. And the moon also produces what? Hermaphrodites by way of mind and spirit beings. Of course, a hermaphrodite, a person who are homosexual, bisexual, anyone who indulges in any combination, unnatural, or diverse practices sexually. The word hermaphrodite from the root word Hermes, and Hermes is the Greek version of the name for the moon god. In other words, Hermes is the moon god Caucasian style of the nature of the Caucasian race. All right, so we know that York claimed to be the moon god Tahuti, incarnated, and all of that. But the fact that Manly P. Hall, which is one of the most celebrated Masons out there, is telling you that the Jews is on a mission to get this androgyny thing back on track. They got a mission. All right, this is their mission. All right. So Noon already told us what's going on without even going into masonry for this foolishness.
To say that human beings must and will return back to their original state of androgyny and mirror the gods, who will follow suit and once again become androgynes when the world has been repaired, as above, so below. For example, according to Kabbalah, humanity was created about 6,000 years ago in the androgynous form of Adam, and must return to that androgynous state in the world to come, Olam Haba. In fact, the Messianic age which is about to begin will not arrive unless and until human beings are converted back into androgynes.
You hear that? They saying that till humans are converted back, the Messiah won't come. So this is why we be seeing such a rise in homosexuality, especially when Obama got in there. And they start giving all the LGBTQ all these rules and laws and what's the word, privileges, all the way up to Biden. They was getting everything. So this showing you that the Kabbalah, spiritually, especially, and legally, is heavily invested into this, because this all got something to do with the Jews. So they eat Manly P. Hall and snitched on them. It's telling you that they have an agenda and it's spiritual, and they believe that the whole planet got to be repaired. So that means they got to get rid of male and female individualism. They want androgyny back. Now listen to this crazy part right here.
The clock then began to run on a countdown of 6,000 years, during which time it is hoped that the descendants of Adam and Eve will have repaired the world and merged back together into androgynous beings. Androgynous Adam had within him, her, all the 600,000 twin souls of the Jews, the androgynous souls of all the Jews that had become separated into male and female half-souls. When
you hear this? This is the twin flame stuff. But he said Adam had in him 600,000 Jews.
Adam split into Adam and Eve. One of androgynous twin souls resides on earth and is separated into its male aspect and its female aspect. Jews are reincarnated over and over again during the 6 days, or 6,000 years of creation, because they are imperfect and must repair themselves bit by bit in each successive incarnation of their half-souls. Their beliefs in some respects mirror those of Hinduism, Buddhism, Pythagoreanism, and Platonism. They repair themselves and the world by following the 613 commandments, or mitzvot, of their Canaanite gods, El and Asherah, whom they have renamed Yahweh and Shekinah.
Look at this mess right here. Telling you, so all this non-binary and my pronouns are this and I'm more than one person, or you misgendering me, you a cisgender, all of this coming from this, powered by the moon god Tahuti. Now you're getting down to the source of all this foolishness running around in America. You don't see them doing this in Israel though. But they pushing this all around the world. It's in the Kabbalah. All this stuff y'all seeing is from them people wearing them small hats and wearing all black, walking around quiet like they ain't got nothing to do with this stuff. And they are doing it. Their own book is telling you. It's right here. But the problem is they're using spells and they're causing people to become gay and homosexual because of the magic they adding into it. They're playing around with it. They believe that the world is broken because it's not androgynous and homosexual and all that. This is what they into. Their own books is telling you this. This is coming out of the Eruvin 19a. They see 8 genders. You can't even tell now.
I have a secret.
I'm gonna try and show why I believe that my celebrity crush, Jake Gyllenhaal, is actually born a woman, a biological female who's transformed into a male by use of puberty blockers, HRT, hormone replacement therapy, before puberty. So it's not like Jake was a woman and then just turned into a man. I mean, Jake never went through puberty of a woman, so therefore Jake just turned into a young man. Someone who looks like a young man on the outside, but actually has the skeleton and probably the underneath parts of a female. So I believe Jake Gyllenhaal has a vagina. It's definitely very difficult to know where to begin, so I'll just start by showing you some open trans men.
Hi, my name is Cam, and this is my voice 15 minutes on T.
Hi, my name is Cam, and this is my voice 1 month on T.
Hi, my name is Cam, and this is my voice 5 months on T.
Hi, my name is Cam, and this is my voice 7 months on T.
Hi, my name is Cam, and I'm 1 year on T.
Well, actually, my family is in the business, so there was a lot of support, and always has been. And it was actually on the other side of the spectrum, if you could say that. It wasn't the apathetic father and, not supportive. It was complete support.
So Jake just told us there that his parents were in the industry, okay? This is a huge clue, a huge connection that I always try to show you guys, because people ask me all the time, how does it work with their parents? Their parents practice this religion too. Please understand that these are not just heterosexual families who, decided to just sell their child off and trans them to become a part of the industry. It's an industry-wide deception of transgender people, deceptively transgendered people. This goes into the Adam Kadmon, and Adam Kadmon is a religious Jewish prototype. People ask me all the time, why would anybody want to change their gender? And
York used the same name for Adam. He called him Cadman, and he got that from the Kabbalah and Madame Blavatsky and all of them people that was messing around. Noble Drew Ali was also playing around with magic with Aleister Crowley and them as well. We told you the number 7 and 72 is dealing with Tahuti. The book that the Moors of America use is called the Quran Circle 7. All right, all this stuff is Tahuti done messed up the whole continent with his shenanigans, and all Masons are following this. This is Tahuti's Masonic form, which I said this many times. That's why you see such a high degree of homosexuality and different versions of it, and the Masons, because they're doing magic. Look right here in the midsection is the serpents. This Leviathan them. They're using magic, but they can turn it into chemicals, and that's why they got it where black girls who was using hair products is making them have extra estrogen and growing big in places ahead of their time, hitting puberty quicker because of the stuff that they're putting in here. They're manipulating and using alchemy, what they call it alchemy, just using it through ingredients and chemicals and all of that. And look at the light bearer up here. This is what they're doing.
this goes into Adam Kadmon ideology. This is their religion. And this is not something that I just made up. You can go look this up for yourself. You can read into it. You can see what they believe. It's all written down. And remember, this is never about one specific person. The only reason that I chose Jake Gyllenhaal to show you is because I did have a crush on Jake Gyllenhaal, and it's ego-shattering to find out that you've been lusting after the same sex. So for those of you who are not at all familiar with the content that I share, I guess I will show you some open male to female transgenders so that you have an easier time
discerning what it is that I am trying to show you. This is what they look like. Okay, please, they've given you a misconception in the mass media of what transgender looks like. See the man face? Do you see the man face? It's just fake. Fake.
That's like a man right there.
I just want to pause right here for a moment and reiterate that although this research sounds, under today's very politicized and politically correct atmosphere, it might sound like this is anti-Semitic, quote unquote, or bigoted. However, we're just going where the research into their own right.
Now, this is what they call all non-Jews, right? They call shells of darkness. It's something they call the Qlippoth, and they talk about how before creation that what they call the Ein Sef breathe, inhale and exhale and put all this energy into these different pots, and these shells broken and they came split, and they was called evil and darkness, and they had to be repaired. So the Jews believe that they come from this divine thing and they gotta fix themselves, and this is how they gotta repair the world. Look, you got other names for Gentiles in the Kabbalah: Goy, Goyim, Edom, Esau, Esau, Edomites, Amalekites, idol worshippers. They call them Christians. All right, Kabbalists use these code names to describe all non-Jewish humans. Now watch this. This is what they think they have to do for the Messiah to come, so y'all can understand that.
Writings take us. And here's a disclaimer from the author Christopher John Bjerknes on page 26 of his book. Please note that throughout this book, the religious views expressed are not those of your present author, but rather a representation of the views and beliefs of those who have pursued the extermination agenda and the androgyny agenda throughout history. Your author does not believe in ancient or current mythologies of any kind. Even if you start out reading this book with no knowledge whatsoever of Gnosticism or Kabbalism, you will learn sacred secrets and come to understand mystical doctrines known only to a few adepts alive today. Okay, with that said, let's resume. According to the Kabbalah, when the Jewish metagod Ein Sof decided to create the universe, it first contracted itself to make way for the divine light of its being to enter the newly created vacuous space, Tzimtzum, and form the objects of creation. The Ein Sof then placed its divine light into 10 vessels, Sefirot, to contain it. 7 of these Sephirotic vessels tragically shattered and introduced shards of Tohu Va Bohu, chaos and void, into creation. The fragmented vessels covered the divine sparks of light in shells of darkness, Qlippoth, which need to be purged from the world so that purity and light can fill the world and take the place of the evil shells within the Tzimtzum, the vacuum.
So this is what they look at non-Jews or shells of darkness called Qlippoth, and they believe they got to purge that from the world, non-Jews. All right, this is in their Kabbalah. This is what they're believing. So non-Jews got to go. All right.
Vacuum, which arose when the Ein Sof contracted itself. This process of removing evil and revealing divine sparks of light, ridding the world of the shells of darkness to leave room for the light, is called Tikkun Olam.
That's how they think they are. They think they are the Tikkun Olam.
Which term means the restoration of the world by the descendants of Adam and Eve, the Jews, who are composed of the divine light.
So understanding this is why they doing what they doing to Palestine. Because their leaders, the Zionists, and Netanyahu was following this. Look at this.
Gentiles are shells of darkness which conceal the light and clutter the Tzimtzum with their evil presence. In order for the vacuum to be filled with the good of light and only with divine light, Gentiles must cease to exist because they are not only...
Do you understand what I'm showing you? There's no stopping, and they not going to stop at Palestine. This is what everybody who hears this need to buckle up, because these people is on a mission, serious mission. They created religions. It's finna get deeper. Watch this.
Evil darkness incarnate, but are shells that conceal and displace the holy light. Darkness must give way to light, and Gentiles, who are called the sons of darkness, must give way to the Jews, who are styled the sons of light, so that the universe can be restored to its original perfect state of purity and order in the world to come. And human beings and the gods must return to their perfect androgynous state. Gentiles are not only sons of darkness, meaning that Satan created them by sleeping with Eve to bear Cain. They are also daughters of the strange god Satan. The only means that the Jews have to reform the androgynous godhead of Yahweh and Shekinah is to make human beings androgynous and to build the third temple to their gods in Jerusalem. Because the gods in heaven mirror what the Jewish people do on earth, should the Jews once again become androgynes, the gods will also become androgynous, and order will return to heaven and to earth.
Just like Afro said in the Bible interpretation, once the Caucasian learned the activated names of the gods took on the nature of them. So they just quietly confirming that. All right? So they saying that the gods are changed when they get rid of non-Jews. They feel that they have to do all this in order to heal the gods as well. This is what I'm telling you.
This tikkun, or repair, of Shekinah and Yahweh into an androgynous form.
See? But they see this is a lie. Yahweh is Tahuti. Tahuti is already androgynous. But this is showing you that this is the moon god, hermaphrodite. This is the twisted lunacy. That's how you know it's the moon god, because it's lunacy. This whole stuff they teaching is lunacy. This is moon god, Tahuti, Thoth, Hermes, hermaphrodite, androgyny, insanity.
Also entails the restoration of the Jewish people to Palestine, the reconstruction of the temple, and the extermination of the Gentiles, whose souls are evil darkness. Shekinah will not return to Yahweh unless and until the temple, their bedchamber, is rebuilt.
See? Now they call it a bed chamber. What do you do in a bed? You have sex in it. That's part of the abomination. They want to build this temple and do some ritual in there that's going to bring back androgyny. This is a Tahuti temple they trying to build. That's the real thing they trying to do.
During the sixth day of creation, the Jews must prepare the way for the Sabbath millennium and wage their war of genocidal conquest on the Gentiles and win it so that they can enjoy the peaceful and relaxing seventh day of rest. They must also atone for the sins of the Jewish people and redeem themselves. In the sixth day, the Jews must work extra hard to ready things for the end times, particularly in the last 400 years of the sixth millennium.
You see that? They already doing that. They have to wage their war of genocidal conquest on the Gentiles. That's what you're saying. And win it so they can enjoy a peaceful, relaxing 7 day of rest. they must also atone for the sins of the Jewish people and redeem themselves. So they telling you that the people that they taken out got to atone for the sins of the Jewish people. This is the religion of scapegoatism. See how sick this is? This is the same stuff Christians believe that Jesus died for everybody. But these people is thinking that instead of one person dying for their salvation, they saying everybody got to go.
The birth pangs of the Messiah, Shevle Mashiach, begin and become more frequent and more painful, just like a woman's contractions do when she gives birth. The Jews had to be redeemed in this period, and the process had to be especially painful and violent. The Gentiles have to be completely destroyed in this 400-year period in an ever-intensifying and accelerating series of calamities.
So they telling you they finna kick off World War III because they can't get enough people to go quick enough. All right, the 400 years. If you want to use the year 1600 to 2000, right? No, what it was, 16 to 20, 1619 to 2019, that was one. But they're talking about the 6,000 years. We know the 6,000 years was up February 5th, 1962. So if let's use that and count 400 years back, but that's not the case because they say they Messiah is supposed to come in 6,000 years. So I think they calendar is like 5,700 something years, somewhere up in there. But the point they're making is that the Jews going to have to step up calamity, and they using the word calamity. So if you're trying to start a calamity, that means you got to do stuff that's near cataclysmic. And we know that they know how to mess with weather. They can cause floods and earthquakes. They got all kind of weapons that they got that can mess with the planet herself. So this is their belief system. This is what Netanyahu thinks. You read what's in his mind.
They will then be able to rest for the next 1,000 years, while Gentile slaves perform all the work of the Jews, just as Shabbos Goyim perform all the work of the Jews on the Sabbath. That is, until such a time as robotics technology makes Gentile slaves obsolete, unnecessary, and redundant.
See? So that means they behind the tech. When we look at the tech, when we look at Peter Thiel and Alex Karp, all these folks is giving all their technology to Jews. And they buying the technology. They buying TikTok. They're doing all this stuff, putting it all into one big thing, because they're going to use that. Again, this is following like the Matrix. They're trying to make people obsolete. They're making Trump fire all these folks. These jobs is not coming back. And they putting tech in play, and they know that a lot of these folks that when they try to go against American population or anywhere else, a lot of people in the military is not going to follow that. So they get investing in technology, drones and other weapons to fight the people that refuse to fight and kill their own people in their country. So this is a part of them. They behind all of this. They behind all of this.
At which point they will be completely exterminated. The Zohar explains the correlation between the Sabbath blessings and rituals and the plan for the Jews to conquer humanity in the last 400 years of the 6th millennium, starting in 1840 AD. The Zohar iterates a prophecy of Yesod, which represents a prolonged and intensifying series of disasters commencing on the 600th year of the 6th millennium, 1840 AD or 5600 on the Hebrew calendar.
They've been planning this since 1840.
To spread the Kabbalah in 1840, which was a very special year, the 600th year of the 6th millennium. This was the year that the Zohar predicted that the gates of wisdom would be open in heaven and the fountains of wisdom would spring forth on earth. Joel David Bakst quoted several statements which attest to this fact in his book, The Josephic Messiah, Leviathan, Metatron, and the Sacred Serpent, The Sacred Doctrine of the Gaon of Vilna, Volume 2. Prior to 1840, the study of Kabbalah was a closed book to all but the initiated. Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, Talmudist ethicist and leader of the Musar movement. Thus, from 1840 onwards, permission has been granted for those who truly desire to enter within. The Kabbalah is no longer the private domain of the initiated masters. The Renaissance, followed by the Enlightenment, and Lurianic Kabbalah, followed by Reformed Judaism, opened the fountains of wisdom and unleashed the evil serpent of science as a modern manifestation of the Messiah, son of Joseph, the Messiah anointed for war. The Reformation caused Rome to fall to pieces. The massive destruction with technology made possible in the world wars delivered Israel and brought down Gentile government and destroyed the monarchies of Europe and the Middle East. Cain and Tubal-Cain were men of science who employed the knowledge of Satan to refine the arts of war. They are the archetypes of the Messiah, son of Joseph. The Zohar calculates the year of the arrival of the Messiah based upon the Hebrew letter Vav, which is also the all-important number 6 in Hebrew of the 6th millennium.
Remember, we broke that down when I was showing that they was lying. That they said Cain was given the Vav and put on his forehead as the sixth letter, but we know that that wasn't. It was the cross that was put on the Caucasian forehead, the Cain group. So they know that the power of the swastika, like Afra Unu said, was passed over from the Hindus to them. And it went from the swastika to the cross. So that was the mark, and they had a 3 and not a 6, even though Ghost is a production of 6 ether, but they hide things and stuff. So we broke all that stuff down.
I just want to pause right here real quick and say that anytime the Kabbalah or Judaism talks about their Messiah, they're actually referring to the Antichrist of the Bible. Okay, resume. And after 600 years of the 6,000, there will be opened the gates of wisdom above, and the fountains of wisdom below, and the world will make preparations on the 6th day of the week, when the sun is about to set. Zohar Prophecy of Yesod. Kabbalists dread peace between Islam and Christendom, and have been agitating for war between these Jewish derivative faiths from the beginning. Muslims and Christians have a common enemy, who fears that should Christendom and Islam ever unite to defeat those Jewish forces who wish them both dead, the Jews will be defeated and their planned utopian world to come will be lost forever. Though Jews have historically at times sided with Christians against Muslims, and Muslims against Christians whenever it is good for the Jews, and often pitted them against one another, the Zohar 3:282a expresses an extremely negative view of both Jesus and the Prophet Muhammad.
Right. And we've been telling y'all, if you don't understand that the rabbis of the mystics, those who the moon god personally chose to give them their power, they created Christianity and Islam and Judaism, and they magically created seals in those different versions of the books. It doesn't matter what level of mysticism that these groups have. It don't matter if you're a Gnostic. It doesn't matter if you're a Sufi or whatever groups that they have. They all are being controlled. It's just like the Lord of the Rings. They control they have the master ring that controls y'all ring, because y'all books keep saying that they are special. That's part of the spell. The Christians don't realize that even in their book, it's telling you those who say they're Jews, they're not, right? So if they're not, and they're the synagogue of Satan, then that means that the 12 tribes mentioned in the book of Revelation is false. Y'all can't hold that. You understand? But the Christians are so stuck because they've been programmed to believe these people are, they chose by the moon god, Tahuti, Gabriel to the Muslims, Jibril. It don't matter. These are games that these deities are playing. But the point is, they're gonna keep y'all fighting. The Muslims got to get ready because the Third World War gonna come when something either gonna happen to the Kaaba or the mosque over there next to their temple on the mountain. It's gonna kick in. They're gonna do something to one of those things because they have a directive. Y'all go get that book, the Zohar Prophecy of Yesod, if you need to. Watch the videos that we doing. We're telling y'all to play. This is not what y'all thought it was. Yet the Quran and the Bible do look at the negatives of the Jewish people through the past, but y'all books still give them praise at the same time, and you can't do both. And y'all gonna stay in this bubble until noon by way of Nupu destroys that spell by exposing y'all to the truth and the facts. And they telling y'all Christians and Muslims can't unite because there's stuff in the Quran that tells them to get rid of folks. That's why you got the people walking around with the jihad going ham, calling Christians idol worshipers. It's the same mentality that they have, that the Jews have. And the Muslims are worshiping the Kaaba. When you going and you dressing an idol up and you running around it and you cleaning it and you upkeep it and then you kissing on it, that's an idol. It's no different if I love the car and I got rims on it. I'm keeping the rims clean. I'm washing it every 2 days and I'm kissing it and rubbing it. They say, oh man, I love my baby. That's an idol. The Kaaba is an idol. Jesus is an idol. The cross is an idol. The symbol of Islam, the moon, is telling you that's Tahuti. Y'all are modern day moon worshipers, all of you. And you kill in the name of the moon god because the moon and noon represent the physical and the mental and the spiritual dead. And the Jews know this.
In 1844, soon after the Fountains of Wisdom were opened in 1840, Benjamin Disraeli, who was to become the first Jewish Prime Minister of England, revealed the fact that there would soon be a tidal wave of revolutions across Europe, which would be instigated by Jews. Disraeli knew at least 4 years in advance that the Marxist revolutions of 1848 were about to happen and who was leading them. Disraeli knew these things 4 years before Marx published the Communist Manifesto. Disraeli disclosed these plans in his book, Coningsby, or The New Generation. Communists grant the state power to raise children and force women to work, thereby destroying the family. Communism is another Kabbala extermination agenda.
See that? They knew. I got a video on one of my news break article where the Jews said that it's a Jewish rabbi said the week before the towers fell, a Jew was driving by and told him to stop. He wanted to pray. He got out and prayed in front of the two buildings, the Twin Towers, and then got through praying and told everybody that these buildings going to be no more a week before. Then we found out that the two buildings, the trade center was owned by this Jewish guy, and they saying that the reason why they got rid of the buildings because they owed like $2 billion it would have cost it to get the asbestos and stuff cleaned and stuff in there, and they didn't want to pay that. So the man who owned the buildings ended up getting a crazy insurance policy that never happened before on those buildings. And it just so happened Bush Jr. had a relative that was working in those buildings for a while. Then it come out, I found out it was some Jewish people supposed to be doing artwork was in those buildings on those floors for months, allegedly doing artwork. And nobody was able to watch them to see what they were doing. And I got video footage of people who was there. It was a black man and a black lady had got escaped from like the 40-something floor and said he heard explosions coming up while they was going down. Even firefighters said they heard explosions. And then the building 7 next to it, they said they got him on the phone talking to the firefighters. They were saying that the buildings was coming down, and his building, they probably is going to get damaged, and they can go ahead and demolition it. And you can hear him on the radio or the phone talking about do it. And that building imploded the same way that the Twin Towers did. And they said that Israel knew that them towers was going to get hit, and it was 3,000 people that they called and told a bunch of people not to go to work. Some Jews did die in that, but they said majority of them was called by Israel. Now, at the same time, right over there in Jersey, a woman, I got the video on as well, a white woman said she was out there before the planes hit. She seen some Jewish guys standing on the roof looking at the Twin Towers direction. As soon as the first plane hit, they started dancing and they were filming. And she called the police. They were detained for a while and then released. The whole time they scapegoated Osama now. So this is what they're telling you. So I'm saying that to say this. These people are causing the destruction in the world. And then they get upset when you find out these things, when you look into their spiritual writings. Their writings telling you that, look, they was over there in Russia, and they said what? Extermination agenda. They caused women to get out the home and work. And they did that over here in about the 1970s. Broke the black family up. That whole feminism stuff, they was behind all that. They destroying the family. They're creating these problems. And when you see them and the people say this on the news, you're an anti-Semite. No, this is what y'all doing.
It is also a dysgenic agenda which genocides the hated bourgeoisie, the most successful members of Gentile society, while often replacing them with a privileged ruling Jewish elite. It breeds the worst with the best to breed the best out of existence. Lenin and Trotsky passed around the brightest, most promising young women among the lowest and most degenerate Bolshevik soldiers and criminals. Many of the Bolshevik rapists and genocidal mass murderers were Chinese whom the Jews imported to assist them in the slaughter of 30 million Eastern Europeans by 1923.
Do y'all understand what y'all dealing with? 30 million.
The Jews and their gods eagerly await the kingdom of the world to come and the restoration of androgyny, just as the Amalekite Gentiles must be exterminated, the Jews ingathered, and the temple rebuilt in order for Shekinah to again cleave to Yahweh in the androgynous Godhead. So too must Jews return to the androgynous state of Adam, for the Godhead to be restored to its original androgynous form. The transhumanist movement and the postgenderists seek to use the technologies of gene manipulation and cloning to create androgynous and immortal post-humans, who are supposedly created in the original form of Adam before Eve was separated out from Adam, and before humanity was cursed with death and childbirth. Esau is the acknowledged name of the Gentiles among Jews, and they often refer to Gentiles as Esau or Amalek when they speak to fellow Jews about exterminating or otherwise harming Gentiles. Esau is used as form of code for Gentile, which Jews often use to keep their intentions hidden from the Gentiles.
And also in the book of Deuteronomy, we speak about
These just all the other names we were talking about. So now we could close that. And you know, this is serious business. This is serious business. And these folks and they got help from the underworld gods. And this and Baphomet and all this stuff that York was tied into this. He was heavily tied into this stuff. We're gonna get this. We're gonna get to another video, but I wanted to show you something real quick. Tell me if y'all can see that.
Yes.
You see that, Anoop? All right. I don't know if he heard me. Anoop, you there? All right. He might have stepped away. But here, Anoop did a thing in January 19, 2015. Look what he said. He asked Jerry Reese, what does this pose mean? This is very interesting to me because this Baphomet creature is a creature that uses the star and the crescent that the Wapians use in their symbol, and Baphomet is a part of Freemasonry, which your teacher was a part of. Please explain to me why he did such things. He even has the same beard as Baphomet. Very, very, very interesting. Legs crossed same way and everything. Very, very interesting. And you can see this. Why is Yoke doing this? All of them was being possessed by the moon god. All of them. See if there's any pictures in here. Again, this is 10 years ago. We've been saying this stuff, but because the spells of these forces are still moving and grooving is why it's taking so long. All right, what you think about that, Ken, real quick before I move on?
I mean, it just breaks down how all the information that he took from the Kabbalah and incorporated it and deceived everybody that followed under him, including me at the time. I'm just glad I got out of that mess. But yeah, that's basically what he did. I mean, he just took that information and ran with it. And it's very deceptive. And it just put us in a more deeper spell of what we was already going through with the Jews. So he added on to their mess.
Right. That's all it was. That's why you look at the symbols he was wearing, all of that stuff is what these folks was doing to spellbound other non-Jews. Yeah. The fact York was running around talking about they was Islamic Hebrews and all this old crap, all they was doing was buying them time and keeping people under the spell, because once you add all this stuff in, and whoever's in the chat, go back and look into the Noahide laws, because that's the main game. They try to they know they're gonna try to wipe out as many people as they can. Yeah. That's the end game. We already know that's the end game. All right. So let me move on. Okay. So let's go to the next video. So let's get more into, what York was teaching. All right. Let me know can you see that?
I can see it. It's just you got it on pause. Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
Gatekeepers are born totally feminine in body with a male spirit, or totally masculine in body with a female spirit. So the anatomy is a woman completely with all the physical attributes of a female with a male spirit inside of her, or a male with all the physical attributes of a male with a female spirit inside of him. Many oversexed persons are mistaken for gatekeepers and are called gays, and other terms which also helped birth homophobia, and misuse the term homosexuality. The word homo is from homogeneous, which means the same nature. That would mean two males of the same nature the exact same in nature. Nature means the qualities of anything, life, force, disposition. That would give the meaning of two males who think and act as well as feel the same in all ways, including sexuality. So in fact, homosexual would be two heterosexual males or straight males. And as soon as they have any form of sexual contact, they become not homosexuals, but hormone sexuals. And what this means is...
This is him lying again. Ain't no way two men that's having sex or straight males and then they become hormone. Because y'all have hormones is great. You already gay before you do it. You understand? If you straight, you ain't finna have sex with with another straight man. You have to be already gay. That's for those who choosing or going through that already. But this is what people like them do. The language they're using. These are spells. Because homo doesn't mean one nature. It just means one. But they're adding stuff in.
Yeah. So basically what they was doing was they was making it seem like it was normal for a heterosexual to have sex with a man. Basically is what these. So basically
not just that, they just saying that when they're not even gay. It's just that their hormones, and that's what you're calling that term.
Yeah.
Hormonally, y'all are hormone sexuals. But no, nigga, homosexual is pretty much the definition that it is. It has nothing to do with, he's trying to clear it up because of he's confusing them. See, remember, they believe in the Kabbalist agenda is to bring the male and female together. Androgyny. Same sex is not androgyny.
No.
But again, because Yorknam is following these negative spirits, they just called them destruction. Remember, they said that Eon Soft, which is the creator, put divine into existence, and some of the pots broke and the darkness came in, so it got to be purged. So all they doing is Yorknam, anybody that's helping them is still considered unworthy, even though they're helping them do the evil.
When you have two males that are together that still dress like men, not a male that wants to be a female or transgend into a female, and then a male with that person. This means two men who still want to wear pants, who don't want to wear makeup, who are still men who get together. They are what you call hormone sexuals. Not to be mistaken for somebody who wants to wear, you know.
It doesn't matter if you wear girl clothes or not. It's the act, idiot. And she literally trying to stand up in America where we done seen all types of this. You don't need to explain that. It doesn't matter. She trying to, this Yorknam trying to confuse and make them believe that just because if y'all keep wearing the same masculine clothes, but y'all do the act gonna make you homosexual and make you homosexual. That's the dumb crap that she's trying to make people believe.
Or even females. If you have two females that look like females, then that would be considered of the same nature, think the same, act the same, feel the same way in both nature and sexuality. So they would be called hormone sexuals. The reason why is because as soon as they have any form of sexual contact, they become hormone sexual because they're experiencing a mental change caused by a hormone change, which will affect their lives. So once they get and mix their fluids genetically, it changes the way they think because their hormones are heightened with the same particular hormone. It's no longer level. So that's why it changes the way they think and feel. They may become more effeminate or they may become more masculine depending on the gender. No, the real gatekeepers are very important. So you must understand that the real gatekeepers are important. Only they can open the gate to the spiritual realms because these beings vibrate on a dual level. There is no room for error. You need the four winds. That is 2 XYX beings and 2 YXY beings, plus 1 golden child in the center to activate the force.
Right. So this is the golden child ritual that they should have been arrested for as soon as they put this out into the public domain. This fool, listening to this fool telling them they need to have a hermaphrodite, male and female, 2 males, hermaphrodites, 2 female hermaphrodites, having sex with a golden child in the middle to open up the portals. Right there is child sex abuse right there. And they following the Kabbalah, not knowing that, and got a Hindu dot on her forehead. This is the stuff why they should be removed from the public register. This is a moon cult that's perverted, and they don't know what done happened to them. They don't know that York was following these Kabbalistic people, and they done turned him inside out, and he done did this mess for years and decades and still doing it.
At the right time, in the right place, surrounded by XX and XY beings.
Just foolishness. All right, that's Chuck's channel. Y'all need to go check him out. He's the creator of Nawapianism.com as well. Y'all need to check that out. All right. And there's plenty of good videos on his channel. All right, we got one more we about to do. All right. All right, here we go. Let me know when you can see it.
Yes, I can see it.
All right. So this is on Kemet Mineral Marshall Tarbunu Net Nupu YouTube. The video is called Sabian Nawapi and Moon Deception. All right. It's going to be the final video.
Known as Thought, also known as Tahutwi, also known as Thought, also known as Hermes or Tehuti. And we all know that Tahutwi is the master scribe. He created writing. But not only did he create writing, he is in the of Partner Babianenen.
I'm here with my homeboy, Tumamoon. I'm in my neighborhood with my Nuwapian friend. And Rahubat, hello. So today we're going to teach a lesson. And one of the lessons is we're going to teach about gays. And the reason why I wanted to share this, guys, with you all is because I wanted you guys to really understand the history of homosexuality and gayness on this planet. So, Amun, tell us what you know about the gays on this planet.
Right now, this is a hot topic. It's very prevalent that we know what we're talking about. We're talking about homosexuality. We're not talking about the religious homosexuality that you see with the Bible, the misinterpretation of Sodom and Gomorrah. More so, if you go to Africa, androgynous beings or neutersexual beings were at the forefront of creation when it came.
Come on, y'all, stop misleading people.
Was the first beings here? Male gay? The females? Okay, but they were gay. It's very important that we as people, we align ourselves with the gay community. We learn from them, we talk to them, because they are the first humans here.
This is what we call these beings. We don't say homosexual, we don't say hetero, no. These are gatekeepers. And
I want to ask you a question. Are you gay? No, that's your wife right over there, right? So this is his wife. How you doing? So this is a straight man right now that's teaching you guys how important it is to align yourself with homosexuals. He doesn't want to call them homosexuals because it's not the proper term, but of course on my live we speak in layman's terms. Now, somebody said this sounds like Dr. York bullcrap. Okay, let me ask you something. Anybody who wants to sit up here and argue, you're free to come online and we will definitely debate.
Clearly pay attention.
Somebody said homosexuality is going against nature. Answer that.
Okay, so now, we're in the animal kingdom. You know, if you go study nature, that's what
yeah,
so
lions
important.
are gay.
Right, and giraffes.
And giraffes.
And so when you study, you got monkeys too. A lot of different animals practice this, but now we have to say, why is that? And it's natural occurrence.
And he doesn't.
The moon cycle was a natural for blind belief, bad habits, and other diabolical activities.
It says Nuwapians advocate homosexuals. No, Nuwapians do not advocate homosexuals.
It's 2019. You can say that. You can say that. Listen, we people, it's nature, right? And so we're, as an animist, I pray Halu to nature. I find it in nature.
You said same sex is wrong, Mr. Nizar. It is not wrong. The type of people on that vibratory rate, they have been existing here longer than anyone. Is it safe for me to say that, Amun? And that's what I've been telling y'all, but because he's more scholarly and more articulate in the way that he teaches as opposed to me, I wanted him to get on my live and I wanted him to explain to you guys in a more articulate way.
With that, and like I said, it's 2019, so what people gotta understand, I'm gonna say being, right?
The moon is the influence. Somebody said the moon is a being. Okay, so somebody said the moon is a being, the moon is an influence. Do you want me to talk about that or you want to?
The moon is not there. The moon is a craft. It's blue.
I was just about to tell you that.
The moon that they see is been gone millions of years ago.
That's a ship. The moon is a ship. That's nothing but a ship. And I've been studying for years, and he has too. And the thing.
It's gonna come a point in time where you can't even transition in and out of this dimension unless you're going through this hermaphrodite or this hemorphodite or what you're calling an androgynous gay person.
I can't take it no more, y'all. The moon has been in summit power and rule for the past and last 6,000 years. And this period of descending time is known in universe science as the moon cycle of orb Earth. And by the moon representing death and the dead is why the last 6,000 years have been increasingly rife with growing suffering, violence, and death, and great deterioration in morals and moral qualities, and values and justice. What these two in the video don't understand is Tahuti is not in favor of the African race. Tahuti represents the moon. Us Africans represent just the opposite, which is the sun. The word hermaphrodite stems from the root word Hermes, and Hermes is the Greek version or name for the moon god. In other words, Hermes is the moon god Caucasian style, or in the nature of the Caucasian race. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Listen to reason. The moon of our planet Earth is basically neuter-gender, but does have enough male and female materials, powers, and energies to produce beings called the moon god and moon goddess by brain concentration, and the moon also produces hermaphrodites by way of mind and spirit beings. Of course, hermaphrodites are persons who are homosexual, bisexual, or anyone who indulges in a combination of unnatural or diverse practices sexually.
should get involved in things that includes us, such as voting, etc. If there are marches and parades, we need to have our flag out there and support LGBT community because we know the truth. Yet, do not be involved in any crazy stuff though. I'm gonna repeat that. We should get involved in things that include us, such as voting. If there are marches and parades, we need to have our flags out there and support LGBT.
From where we left off yesterday, brother, from where we left off yesterday. Yeah, there we go. From where we left off yesterday, my brother, we was talking about the gay and lesbian parade agenda. Let's just say the gay and lesbian agenda. Where did this call come from? Did it come from up top, or did y'all make this decision on your own? When you say call, what do you mean? Like the call to start saying, you know what, we're going to support the gay and lesbian agenda. Did it come from Dr. York himself, or did y'all have something like a meeting and y'all came up with this idea?
Well, first of all, peace and blessings to the people. You know, peace and blessings to the family out there in the world. I hope about yourself. And yes, my attribute is Pharaoh. Shepsi's Dwamu Tefa Moon, you know, Pharaoh is just a title. So there's 1,000 pharaohs out there. So just to clarify that. We as the Nwapi Nation, we have what's called the canon, right? And the canon is basically the rules and regulations for the Nwapians to follow for the next 24,000 years. We write our history in advance, remember that. So for the next 24,000 years, we already have our canon in place. So it's not just, we don't just freestyle and just make up stuff and just start talking. The master actually, he has actually given instructions for us to support the gay community. What we're supporting with the gay community is this. We're supporting the people to have the right to be who they are.
We are the spiritual keepers of the gates. Thus we were called gatekeepers.
The sun of our solar system and the moon of our planet Earth are opposites in nature and by nature, because one, the sun represents the living and life, and the other, the moon, represents death and the dead. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Same sex is wrong. The moon is not a ship. The first beings were not females from another planet. This sound wrong reason is what the moon represents. What you've seen in this video is the mentally dead members of our race. My name is Tarnunet Nubahan Nupu, and I'm just making it known.
I've been studying for years, and he has two in the thing.
All right, so that's the end of that. Foolishness. Tell me they've been studying for years. They sure don't look like it. That's like a whole lie. Tell me you've been studying for years. Who believes that? Who believes that?
Studying a spell for years. A deeper spell.
All right, Ken. So what you think? I can't hear you.
It just showing on the high scale how deep the spell has been coming from Leviathan. And then you got the moon god that's been doing their dirt, and you got the Jews that worship them. The moon god, worship the moon god. That's what I meant to say. And they is playing out the genocide of the world for their androgyny culture is just ridiculous. And you got
Yeah.
them idiots pushing it. Dead is all outdoors.
Yeah, they believe that their Messiah will take on the pain of the wrongdoing that they doing for the Messiah to come. That's how sick they is. But that's just the underworld gods, tricking them to do more dirt. And that just show you that religion is a spell and it's deranged, and these underworld gods are putting them in these predicaments, and they think that it's okay, and it's not. And that's the sad part about it. So it ain't just York, Farrakhan, all these people are Masons, and they got these beliefs and
Yes, they are.
And they got these belief systems that they don't realize they being played for a bigger goal.
Yeah, and it's
And
a lot of.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No. I'll go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
That was it. I was finished.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And in some of the cult members that I was studying with, they done went on to become Prince Hall Masons.
Yeah, York was telling them to do all that stuff, become Masons and all. But that's again because he following the Kabbalah, unfortunately. And these people don't play fair. So when you get into, like you said, you got to read them books that they don't put out there, and then you can look at it. Whatever you was into has been influenced by it, whether it's just religion or a cult. It's all something going on with that. So, but that's all I wanted to present tonight, and knew to come back tomorrow and do some things, and that'll be it. So we